The full moon stood high above the Silver Fang pack when Alpha Kale spoke, the words that would haunt him for the rest of his life. I reject you. The courtyard froze. Lyra felt the bond rip through her chest like claws tearing flesh. She collapsed to her knees, gasping, while the Alpha turned away without a second glance. He did not see the moon darken. He did not feel destiny shift. And he did not know that the moment he rejected her, the moon chose her instead. No one spoke. The pack watched as Lyra clutched her chest, tears slipping silently down her face. Rejection was not just emotional, it was a death sentence for an Omega. Kale stood tall, proud, unmoved. To him, she was a mistake fate had made. Lyra had always been poor. No noble blood, no powerful family. She cleaned halls others ruled, lowered her head when nobles passed, and learned early that survival meant silence. She never dreamed of being chosen, and she never imagined being rejected so publicly. Alpha Kale believed strength was everything. Born to rule, raised to dominate. A weak mate would stain his legacy, so he chose pride, and pride blinded him to the truth. Whispers followed Lyra wherever she went. Rejected, useless, unworthy. Laughter cut deeper than claws. Lady Serafini watched with a satisfied smile. Beautiful, rich, noble, everything Lyra was not. She believed the Luna title already belonged to her. The rejected Omega is to leave pack lands by dawn. The verdict was final. No protection, no mercy, only exile. Lyra walked alone into the forest as dawn broke. Every step hurt, every breath burned, but she did not look back. That night, the forest was unnaturally silent. Lyra curled beneath a tree, shivering, rejected, broken, alone. Then the moonlight shifted. Lyra, her name echoed inside her mind. She screamed as power surged through her veins. The earth trembled. Her wolf was not weak. It was ancient, and it had been sealed away. Until now. That same night, Alpha Kale woke screaming. His chest burned. The bond he broke clawed back at his soul. Sleep abandoned him. Peace vanished. The rejection poisoned him slowly. Lyra learned to hunt, to endure pain, to listen when the moon spoke. A silver mark burned onto her skin. The moon's mark, the chosen. The pack began to feel it. Something had changed. The forest watched them now. For the first time, Serafini felt fear. The moon no longer answered her prayers. Lyra stood beneath the moon, no longer trembling. Power answered her call. High above, the moon goddess opened her eyes. Judgment had begun. The rejected Omega rose from the ashes of humiliation. The Alpha slept without peace, and the moon prepared to reveal the truth. The forest no longer felt hostile. It listened. Every step Lyra took caused the earth to hum softly beneath her feet. Trees leaned toward her presence. Night creatures bowed their heads when she passed. Her wolf no longer hid. It spoke low, ancient, and patient. You were never weak, it said. They were simply blind. Lyra felt no anger, only clarity. Alpha Kale's days became unbearable. His strength faltered. His commands echoed without authority. The pack noticed, and an alpha without dominance was dangerous prey. At night, Kale clutched his chest as phantom pain burned through him. The bond, rejected yet unbroken, refused to fade. He began to dream of silver eyes watching him from the dark. Serafini tried everything: seduction, obedience, rituals. The moon remained silent. For the first time, her beauty felt useless. Whispers returned to the pack, not about Lyra's weakness but her absence. Strange things happen beyond the borders. The forest is changing. Fear crept in quietly. Lyra learned restraint. Power meant nothing without control. Each night, she trained beneath the moon until her strength obeyed her will. The silver mark burned again this time, forming symbols older than the pack itself. The moon goddess was not blessing her, she was preparing her. A challenger rose within the pack. Kale defeated him, but barely. Blood spilled on sacred ground. The pack saw weakness. That night, a howl echoed across the territories. Not an alpha's call, something older, something commanding. Every wolf froze. Lyra stood at the border of the land she was banished from. No fear, no hesitation, She did not return as an Omega. She returned as judgment. The moment she crossed the boundary, the pack felt it. Knees buckled, wolves bowed instinctively. Kale staggered as the bond surged violently. She's back. Fear, not anger, filled his eyes. Serafini felt it too, and she knew she was never chosen. Lyra stepped into the courtyard. Silence fell like a curse. She met Kale's gaze, calm, unbroken. I have nothing to say to you, she said softly. She did not bow. She did not beg. She did not strike. That frightened them more than rage ever could. Clouds swallowed the moon. The goddess was watching closely now. For the first time in his life, Alpha Kale wished he could undo a choice. But fate does not rewind. I did not return for forgiveness, Lyra said. I returned because the moon demanded balance. The pack stood on the edge of transformation. The Alpha stood on the edge of loss. And Lyra, once rejected, now held their fate in her hands. The silence between Lyra and Alpha Kale felt heavier than iron. It wasn't anger that filled it. It wasn't hatred. It was memory. The memory of what could have been. Of a bond felt too early and broken too cruelly. Kale stood still. His alpha instinct screaming at him to command the space, but his heart refused. For the first time in his life, he did not know which voice to obey. Kale opened his mouth and closed it again. Words failed him. Apologies felt too small. Regret felt too late. He had ruled packs, fought wars, faced death, but he had never faced the woman he once broke. Lyra did not tremble. She did not lower her gaze. Power had changed her, but suffering had refined her. She looked at Kale not with longing, but with clarity. When Kale knelt, the sound of stone beneath his knees echoed like thunder. Gasps rippled through the pack. No alpha bowed. No alpha begged. Yet there he was. I failed you, he said quietly. And the moon listened. Lyra's heart ached against her will. The bond stirred soft, familiar, dangerous. She remembered nights she cried alone. Dreams she buried. Love does not vanish easily, but trust does. Enough, Serafini shouted, stepping forward. Desperation sharpened her beauty. Fear twisted her voice. You were never meant to be Luna. The moon answered her accusation with silence. The night split open. Silver light poured down like judgment wrapped in mercy. The moon goddess descended slowly, her presence bending reality itself. Love rejected, she said, does not die. It transforms. The goddess turned to Kale. You chose pride over bond, power over balance. Speak without lies. The alpha swallowed hard. I feared weakness, Kale admitted, and I feared how deeply I felt her. His voice broke. I rejected her because loving her meant losing control. Lyra stepped forward. You didn't just reject me, she said softly. You taught me who I had to become. Her voice held no bitterness, only truth. The bond can be restored, the goddess said, but only if chosen freely. She turned to Lyra. Do you choose him? Lyra looked at Kale for a long time. I will not return to a cage made of fate, she said. If we bond, it will be because you walk beside me. I will earn you, Kale said, every day, without command, without pride. Silver light wrapped around them. The bond reformed, slow, gentle, alive. Serafini stepped back, unseen, unchosen. Some lessons arrive without applause. Later, beneath the trees, Kale reached for Lyra's hand slowly. She didn't pull away. Love returned not as fire, but as warmth. Lyra ruled without fear, without cruelty, without forgetting where she came from. The pack flourished. Peace settled over the Silver Fang pack like a fragile promise. The bond between Lyra and Kale grew stronger each night, slow, intentional, chosen. But the moon does not grant power without consequence, and others had begun to notice. Peace settled over the Silver Fang pack like a fragile promise. The bond between Lyra and Kale grew stronger each night, slow, intentional, chosen. But the moon does not grant power without consequence, and others had begun to notice. Beyond Silver Fang borders, shadows moved. Other packs whispered her name. The Luna who was chosen twice. The Omega who became balance itself. And envy is a dangerous hunger. Lyra felt it before anyone else. A pull, a disturbance in the bond. The moon whispered only one word. Prepare. Kale became restless, protective, not possessive but alert. You are not prey, he told her softly, but they will try to make you one. A rival alpha arrived under truce. His eyes lingered too long on Lyra. We seek alliance, he said, but desire hid behind his smile. She would strengthen any pack, the alpha said openly. Perhaps even more than one. The air turned cold. Kale did not growl, he smiled, and that frightened everyone. Lyra stepped forward. I am not a prize, she said evenly. I am not a bargain. Her power rippled outward, controlled, undeniable. That night, scouts returned wounded, borders breached, signs of preparation for war. They were coming for her. Kale knelt before Lyra in private, not as alpha. If the world rises against you, he said, it rises against me first. That night, they stayed awake together, not speaking, just breathing. Love does not always need words. Sometimes it needs presence. They came at dawn, silent, ruthless, but they underestimated her. The ground split. Silver light exploded outward. Lyra did not scream. She commanded. Kale arrived mid-battle, not as a ruler, but as a mate. The message was clear. Touch the Luna, and the moon will answer. War had begun. Lyra stood before the pack. This war will not be fought for me, she said. It will be fought for balance. Even in war, Kale found her hand. Even in chaos, she found his gaze. They were no longer broken halves. They were united. As the moon rose blood red, Lyra felt something shift again. This battle was not the end. It was the beginning of her true role. The night before the war was unnaturally quiet. No howls, no wind. Lyra stood at the edge of the cliffs, watching the moon bleed red across the sky. She felt every pack stirring, every fear, every hunger for power. Behind her, Kale waited, not as an alpha, not as a commander, but as a man who loved her. He did not interrupt her silence. He had learned finally that love is not claimed, it is invited. I don't fear death, Kale said softly. I fear a world where you survive, and I do not. Lyra turned to him then. Her silver eyes softened. You will live, she said, because this war ends tonight. She rested her forehead against his. No kiss, no drama, just certainty. Lyra had seen war before. She knew how it ended. Victory bred resentment. Defeat bred revenge. So she made a choice no alpha ever had. She would not win the war. She would end it. The first howl shattered the night. Packs collided beneath the red moon. Claws flashed. Earth shook. Kale fought like a storm unleashed, but his eyes never left Lyra, because he knew, if she fell, the world would fall with her. The rival alpha stepped forward mid-battle. Give us the Luna, he roared, and the war ends now. Silence followed. Every wolf turned to Lyra. Kale stepped in front of Lyra instantly. No, he said, not as a threat, as a promise. She is not the cause of your greed. She is the mirror of it. Lyra touched Kale's arm gently and stepped past him. Gasps spread across the battlefield. I will not be taken, she said, and I will not hide. Her voice carried, not loud, but absolute. The red moon turned silver. Time slowed. Weapons lowered. Wolves fell to their knees, not in fear, but recognition. The moon goddess did not descend. She did not need to. Lyra had become her voice. There will be no ruler above balance, Lyra said. No pack above another. Her power did not burn. It settled, and with it, the war died. Power like hers demanded sacrifice, not blood, but choice. Lyra felt the bond loosen, not break, but change. She would never again belong to one pack alone. She belonged to all. Kale felt it instantly, and still he smiled. I don't need to own you, he said. I just need to walk beside you. Lyra took his hand, and the bond remained, not as fate, but as choice. The packs returned home changed. Borders dissolved. Fear faded. Lyra traveled between them, a Luna of balance, a reminder. Kale ruled Silver Fang with humility, and waited every night for her return. On a quiet night, Lyra returned to the cliffs. Kale was already there. No war, no crown, just two souls who survived themselves. She leaned into him, and for the first time, the moon shone softly. As the moon settled into a calm silver glow, Lyra and Kale stood side by side, no longer bound by fate, but by choice. The pack thrived, and the balance they restored was a testament to their journey. In the end, Lyra whispered, "Love and balance are the true power."
Love didn't win by force, it won by choice. Some rise above, some are left behind, and the line between them is the heart. This is Elite Divide, where love crosses every line. The story continues.